All right, so we're looking at a swing. We're looking at three main areas here. We're looking here at Josh, and that back leg has to do two things, okay? When the foot is up, you look at our pro here, you look at Jacob here. When the foot is up, the back leg is loaded. It's got to load, and then it's got to press sideways. You can see when Josh is loaded, the knee is kind of kicking to the outside, and the weight gets to the outside of the foot, which is not what we want. Okay, that knee shouldn't be pointed in that direction. Look at our knee here, which is good. Our knee here is good. That knee should not kick out like that. Okay, that leg's got to load, and that leg's got to press sideways when it goes. It's got to load and go. And so here we're getting pretty good, sideways press by Josh and the pro. With Jacob, I still think that foot is just spinning there. Jacob off the tee, we see here, the foot slides forward a little bit. That's usually evidence of leg drive, okay? So the back leg's got to load and go sideways. That's it. Load and go sideways. Any turn that it does is passive. We drive with it, and we allow it to turn over. We don't force that back leg to spin, okay? And the one on the bottom that he's doing off the tee is exactly what we want. All right, let's go to front side now, okay? We look at the front side. All the front side is it should be a wall that we're driving into and against. Okay, and you look at our pro here. You see the foot is square, knee is behind foot. That's critical. Okay, and that front side is really squared off. Okay, Jacob looks pretty good there. Knee behind foot. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, foot still pretty square there with Jacob. But you can see with Josh live, first move he makes, that toe spins, foot spins, and so look at our pro's feet, still sideways. Josh's front foot's already flown open. Even off the tee, it's too open. Got to get rid of that little turn, okay? As we kind of continue to look at the feet, look at how pro's feet, are still fairly sideways, and we look at Josh, and he's already flown open. Jacob's still pretty sideways there, very similar to what the pro's doing. So again, he's got to stop the spinny feet, okay? Continue with that front side. Again, we're looking for that wall we're trying to drive into, that kind of slanted wall that we're trying to drive into. And Josh has it off the tee. We get this nice tilt. We get this nice slanted wall. Okay, live, because he's spinning, there's no tilt, and we get this kind of spine. No tilt, okay? And our basic rule with that front side is we want more tilt, less turn. More tilt, less turn, and he's flying open. Okay? All right, the other thing we see with Josh, let's look at the head movement. There's a lot of, after contact, a lot of sideways, and you see it more. That's interesting. You see it more live than off the tee. Off the tee, see, we still get his chest. He's not forcing spin. We get their chest here. But off the tee, we're seeing his back, and so his head almost has to go sideways to stay on the ball. Whereas off the tee, his head's a lot more quiet, okay? All right, last thing is the back arm, which is throwing the barrel, which really controls how the bat moves through the zone. And you can tell Josh there has a little better arm action. That what we're looking for is that elbow up and the elbow sliding in. Look how steep Josh is here off the tee, which is really nice. And what we want, barrel on top of hands, hands on top of elbow. And here we get really, really flat with it live, okay? So again, that's a positive that we're seeing off the tee. You can see he's working on it. Look at the difference in those angles. And that's a really good path to the ball. Now we don't want that lead arm to stay locked in and bent. Look at our pro's lead arm, okay? It's got some stretch to it. Okay, so we don't want to lock in that front arm. But that, you can see him working on that pattern, the elbow working up. Very different position. This is a really good position down here off the tee and not as good here. And it's because here he's trying to spin. He's, the moving ball changes the way he swings. That's a really short path off the tee. And so see here live, the bat kind of gets drugged behind, it's kind of being dragged behind the arms and that sort of thing. The barrel's not as steep. Okay. And off the tee, his hands turn over. I don't like the chicken wing at all. This lead arm, this lead elbow shouldn't get away from us like that. It should look more like this, and even your live swing there, that arm should be stretched. It shouldn't be locked out, but it should be stretched. Okay, and if you look at our hand, look who's over quicker, Adrian or Jacob with their hands. A lot of good pronation. Okay, a lot of good pronation there. So we really want to get those hands over Josh as quick as you can. So try to get that right, pronate through contact, get that hand over through contact. And he does snap over off the tee pretty good. That's pretty quick. Live, he's still kind of hooking his arms around instead of snapping those hands. You see that? Okay, I'm going to save. Okay, so again, what we talked about Jacob already some. Again, let's break it down. Back leg first. Back leg's got to get ready and go. And we see him make a move there to load. Back leg's loaded when the front foot's off the ground. And we want to unload before that heel drops. And we're getting that, okay? So I like what's going on with our feet there, okay? Which was a big deal. We weren't doing that before, okay? So this looks like this is, still like to see him in a game, but it looks like we've kind of got our natural feet that we were after, okay? Again, that back leg is unloaded before and through contact with the ball, and we kind of combine that with this off the back and this tilted behind the front look, okay? I like the footwork there. I like the back leg, okay? Let's go to the front side. Again, we want to just have that front side. Think of that front side as a wall we're driving into, okay? He flops that foot a little bit, but I think that's fine. I think we're okay there, okay? Still, I'd say under 45 degrees, probably about 30 degrees open. So I'm good with that. And we're driving into that front side, and he stays behind it. Okay, front knee's acting about right. Chest is back. And again, I like to say, when I'm looking at that front side, I'm looking at the spine angle. Okay. And if we get off that back side and that bat stays steep, there's no such thing as too much tilt. We want to be as tilted as we can get, as long as we're off that backside and the barrel stays up. We can't be tilted and collapsing, okay? But we want a ton of tilt. So I could say, hey, increase the tilt a little bit. Keep working on more tilt, minimize the turn, okay? But that's a pretty good front side. Jacob's head is quiet, okay? Remember, you can't follow it with your neck. We've talked about that. Leave your eyes out front. Get the information out here in front where it can do you some good. Looking behind you does no good. So keep the head back. That'll also help with tilt. Okay. All right. Last thing, back arm, which is, where Jacob needs the most work. Okay. Still kind of, and again, I think getting down the yard as a right-handed thrower and educating that left arm will help.
He's been throwing the football out.
You have. You've been throwing. Okay. Good. Good. The more you do, man. Okay. You're doing pretty good with the dumb left arm. Okay. Try to educate it. Okay. We really see in both of these, both these two clips, that Jacob is still kind of turning the shoulders and kind of pinching the scap and widening the elbow to kind of get started. I don't see any lifting and turning in of the humerus or, at the shoulder joint like we're trying to get. Very different from kind of what we're seeing here from Adrian, okay? Okay, the shoulder joint not doing a whole lot there with Jacob in the hands. And you can see when he slots in, okay, this one here is not too bad. Still, I'd like to see the hands a little bit more on top of the elbow. This one here is too wide. We're too wide there with the elbow. Okay, not terrible. And the bat's a lot steeper than we were before. The bat's that's a pretty darn steep bat right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. My biggest thing is the way we're starting by kind of turning these hands and back here and getting the hands when they slot. Okay, so if we look here, we see this pretty big gap between hands and shoulder. The one in the upper left, not as bad. Okay, as we finish the throw through here. Okay, again, Jacob has great hands through the ball, great pronation, as good as you're going to see. I mean, he just about beats Adrian there in the bottom right hand over the top. Okay, and good tilt, head staying behind it.